The Shield reunites as Dean Ambrose returns to WWE as the Mystery Attacker. The Mystery Attacker storyline that's been dominating WWE for months just got solved in the most shocking way possible, and what it reveals is going to rewrite the entire landscape of professional wrestling. Dean Ambrose, the man who left WWE in 2019 swearing he'd never return, the man who called WWE a creative prison, the man who burned every bridge on his way out, just returned as the Mystery Attacker. And he didn't come back alone. The Shield is reuniting, but not in the way anyone expected, and the target of their attack isn't a random roster member, it's the entire Final Dynasty, including Roman Reigns, the man Dean once called his brother. Because this isn't a feel-good reunion story. This is a revenge mission orchestrated by the one-man WWE thought they'd never see again, and the declaration of war Dean just delivered alongside Seth Rollins and a third Shield member that nobody saw coming is going to tear WWE apart from the inside out and make WrestleMania 42 the most chaotic event in history. For 6 weeks, WWE has been running the Mystery Attacker storyline, someone in tactical gear and a mask systematically targeting members of the Final Dynasty. First it was allies of Roman's group getting jumped, then it escalated to attacking Roman, Rock, Cody, and Jacob Fatu directly. The attacks were calculated, brutal, and seemed to have insider knowledge of schedules and movements that only someone with WWE access could have. Speculation ran wild. Was it CM Punk from the hospital orchestrating revenge? Was it a returning legend? Was it an NXT call-up making a massive statement? Every week, the mystery deepened, and WWE played it perfectly, never giving away too much, keeping everyone guessing. Monday Night Raw, the go-home show before the next major pay-per-view. Roman Reigns, The Rock, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu were in the ring cutting a promo about how they're untouchable, how nobody in WWE has the guts to stand up to the Final Dynasty, when suddenly the lights went out. The crowd erupted because they knew this was the Mystery Attacker's moment. When the lights came back on, there were 4 figures surrounding the ring, all in tactical gear, all wearing masks. The Final Dynasty immediately went into defensive mode, but they were surrounded with nowhere to run. The first figure stepped into the ring and slowly removed his mask. The crowd was screaming in anticipation, and when the mask came off, the entire arena went into absolute pandemonium. Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good, the Lunatic Fringe, standing in a WWE ring for the first time in 7 years. The pop was so loud it was deafening. Fans were crying, screaming, losing their minds. Because Dean Ambrose returning to WWE was thought to be impossible. He'd been so vocal about his hatred for WWE's creative process, so successful in AEW and the independent scene, so adamant that he'd never go back. But there he was. And the look on his face wasn't happiness, it was vengeance. Then the second figure unmasked, and it was Seth Rollins. The crowd's reaction somehow got louder because everyone immediately understood what was happening. The Shield was reuniting. The most dominant faction in WWE history was coming back together. Roman's face in the ring went from confident to shocked to what looked like genuine fear. Because Roman knows better than anyone what the Shield is capable of when they're united and motivated. But then the third figure stepped forward, and when that mask came off, the wrestling world exploded. It was Sami Zayn. Not the original third Shield member everyone expected. Not some random addition, but Sami Zayn, the man who'd been betrayed by Roman, who'd earned the respect of the WWE Universe through his journey with and against the Bloodline, who'd proven himself worthy of standing alongside wrestling's elite. Dean grabbed a microphone and his first words sent shockwaves. Roman, you look surprised. You look scared. And you should be. Because for 7 years I stayed away from this company watching you build your empire on lies, on manipulation, on using people and throwing them away when they were no longer useful to you. I watched you do to G what you tried to do to me and Seth back in 2014, break their spirit and rebuild them as your puppet. The crowd was hanging on every word. This wasn't a scripted promo, this was real emotion from someone speaking about years of frustration. But I'm not here just to talk. Seth and I came back with a purpose. We recruited Sami not as a replacement for anyone, but as the brother that Roman never deserved to have. And together, we're going to do what we should have done years ago, we're going to destroy the tyrannical empire that Roman built on the ashes of what the Shield was supposed to represent. Roman grabbed a microphone, and his voice was shaking not with fear, but with what seemed like genuine hurt. Dean, after everything we went through together, after I had your back through every war we fought, you come back like this? You align against your family. Dean's response was ice cold. You stopped being my family the second you prioritized your ego over our brotherhood. You want to talk about having my back? You had my back when it benefited you. When I needed to leave WWE for my mental health, for my creative sanity, you didn't reach out. You didn't check on me. You were too busy building your tribal chief character and forgetting where you came from. Seth stepped forward. Roman, I tried to tell you years ago that this path you were on would end badly. I tried to be the voice of reason, but you were so consumed with being acknowledged, with being the guy, that you pushed away everyone who actually cared about you. Well, congratulations, you got what you wanted. You're the guy. and now you're the guy who's about to get destroyed by the brothers you abandoned. Then Sami spoke, and his words cut deepest. Roman, I was the outsider who you brought into your bloodline. I was the one person who tried to see the good in you, who believed you could be more than a manipulative tyrant. And you used me, manipulated my emotions, and then threw me away the second I stopped being useful. So yeah, when Dean and Seth came to me and said they needed a third brother to take down the final dynasty, I didn't hesitate. The Rock tried to step in, playing peacemaker. Gentlemen, this is getting too personal. We can handle this like professionals, but Dean cut him off. Shut your mouth, Rock. You're part of the problem. You came back and enabled Roman's worst instincts. You joined his alliance knowing full well what kind of person he's become. You chose power over principle, just like him. Then the fourth masked figure who'd been standing quietly at ringside finally revealed themselves, and the wrestling world went into complete meltdown. It was Moxley. Wait, no, it was Dean, but he brought someone else. The fourth person unmasked to reveal, it was Bray Wyatt. The man who'd passed away and supposedly ended his in-ring career was back. Except this wasn't Bray, this was someone wearing Bray's mask as tribute, and when they removed it, it revealed it was Bo Dallas, Bray's actual brother, joining this coalition as a representative of the Wyatt legacy. Dean explained Bray Wyatt knew what it was like to be held back by corporate creative. He knew what it was like to have visions and ideas crushed by people who didn't understand. Before he passed, he told his brother that if there was ever a revolution against WWE's establishment, the Wyatt family should be part of it. Bo is here to honor his brother's memory by helping us tear down the false gods who've been controlling WWE. The final dynasty tried to attack, but the Shield coalition was ready. What followed was an absolutely brutal brawl that had all 8 men, Dean, Seth, Sami, Bo versus Roman, Rock, Cody, and Fatu, destroying each other in and around the ring. The fight spilled into the crowd, into the backstage area, through catering, into the parking lot. Security couldn't control it. Officials couldn't stop it. It was pure chaos, and the crowd was eating every second of it. Eventually, the Shield coalition stood tall in the ring, having fought off the final dynasty, and Dean delivered the final message at the pay-per-view. It's going to be the Shield, the real Shield, the Shield that represents brotherhood and revolution against the final dynasty in a War Games match. And we're not fighting for championships or accolades. We're fighting to save WWE from the tyranny that Roman Reigns has created. The backstage reaction is unprecedented. Dean Ambrose's return alone would have been massive news. The Shield reuniting would have been historic. But the addition of Sami Zayn and Bo Dallas representing the Wyatt legacy, combined with the explicit goal of destroying Roman's empire, this is the biggest storyline shift in WWE in years. Wrestlers are immediately choosing sides. Drew McIntyre reportedly approached the Shield coalition backstage and said, "Whatever you need, I'm in." Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and several others are allegedly forming a support network because they recognize this is bigger than one feud. This is a locker room revolution. But Roman's allies are consolidating too. Solo Sikoa immediately returned to Roman's side despite previous tensions. The Usos are reportedly torn but leaning toward supporting family. WWE's entire roster is being forced to pick a side in what's becoming an all-out war. Dean Ambrose was under contract with AEW as Jon Moxley. His return to WWE means one of 3 things happened. 1. WWE paid an enormous amount of money to buy out his contract. 2. Tony Khan agreed to let him leave as a favor or strategic move. Or 3. There's a cross-promotional angle happening that nobody saw coming. Wrestling insiders are scrambling trying to figure out the logistics. If WWE bought out Moxley's contract, it signals they're willing to spend whatever it takes to create the biggest WrestleMania possible. If Tony Khan let him go, it might indicate tension behind the scenes in AEW. If this is cross-promotional, it would be the most shocking development in wrestling business in decades. In interviews immediately after Raw, Dean explained their motivation. This isn't about nostalgia. This isn't about recapturing glory days. This is about 3 guys, 4 guys counting Bo, who are sick of watching WWE be controlled by egos and politics instead of what's best for wrestling. Roman represents everything wrong with modern WWE: the politicking, the manipulation, the prioritization of individuals over the collective good. We're here to reset the balance. Seth added, "When Dean called me and said he wanted to come back specifically to take down Roman and the final dynasty, I didn't hesitate. Because I've been fighting this fight alone for months. Having my brothers back, having people who understand what the Shield was supposed to represent, it gives me hope that we can actually fix what's broken." Sami's perspective: "I'm the guy who got used and discarded by Roman. I represent every wrestler who's ever been manipulated by someone in power. This is personal for me in ways people can't imagine." WrestleMania 42 just got completely rewritten. The proposed War Games match, the Shield, Dean, Seth, Sami, and Bo Dallas versus the final dynasty, Roman, Rock, Cody, Fatu, is now the main event conversation. Everything else feels secondary to this collision. But here's the genius of this storyline: both sides have compelling motivations. The final dynasty believes they're bringing prestige and dominance to WWE. The Shield believes they're fighting tyranny and saving wrestling's soul. There's no clear babyface or heel, it's philosophical warfare. Dean Ambrose returned to WWE as the mystery attacker. The Shield reunited with Sami Zayn as the new third member and Bo Dallas representing the Wyatt legacy, and they declared all-out war against Roman Reigns and the final dynasty. This isn't just a wrestling storyline, this is a revolution that's going to determine WWE's direction for years. The man who swore he'd never return just came back with vengeance. The faction that defined modern WWE just reformed to destroy what their former brother built. And Wrestlemania 42 is going to be the battleground where wrestling's future is decided. Are you Team Shield or Team Final Dynasty? Do you believe Dean's motivations, or is this about ego? Can Roman survive an attack from his former brothers? Explode in the comments because this is the most divisive storyline in wrestling. If this breakdown gave you chills, smash the like button and share this everywhere. Subscribe to Wrestling News CC because this story is evolving by the hour and will cover every development in the war that's going to reshape WWE forever. The Shield is back, and professional wrestling will never be the same.